Hello, good evening, and happy 4th of July. I am Mike, and this is Seti Astro, and today we are going to look over my workflow on Pixinsight. I bought Pixinsight about 2 to 3 months ago, so I have not been working with it for a very long time, but I have watched tons of videos on it. I feel pretty confident in it now. But by all means, I am not an expert Pixinsight person. But this is basically just showing my basic workflow of narrowband data, not one-shot color. This is narrowband. Um, I use a ASI 2600 monochrome camera. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open this up and look at the data we're working with today. The target is NGC 6960, also known as the Cygnus loop. This is our hydrogen alpha data. This is our oxygen data. Still linear, still monochrome data. So the first thing we're going to start out with is cropping these two images to make sure we have no artifacts on the edges. It looks like they may have been cropped already, but we'll go ahead and crop them anyhow for the sake of it. So I would start with one of these two. The images are currently not aligned with each other, but the alignment's going to be extremely close. So they were taken on separate nights, but so I'll find my crop there. We'll grab my blue triangle, drop it on the other image, the H8. We'll crop that, and we can come over here and hit the green check, and that crops that side. From here, I'm going to use Seti Astro's auto dynamic background extraction. I don't need to mess with the settings on this at all. I haven't, I've found stock settings on it that work great. So I just drag and drop it. That takes a few seconds. It'll go through and create a couple of frames and then spit out a new image for us. Okay. So it creates a background model for us. We can look at that, see what it removed. And we can just get rid of that. We don't need it. And there's our background extracted. So significant improvement. Did a really good job of removing the background. We'll see that is even more prevalent on the next image. So here's our hydrogen alpha data. As you can see, this one has this little dark corner down here. I don't know if I was clipping the edge of my building. Not really sure what caused that part of that gradient there. But Seti script handles that perfectly. So with the background model, you can see we got that gradient removed really good. And there you go. So there's our background extracted. So now with these two images, before I do anything else, I'm going to do star alignment. So I will take, normally what I would do is my reference frame, I will make a copy of that, right? So I could drag that out there and make a clone of that, and then I could take this, put it in here, and then I will take this, put it there, and my O3 data, and put it there. You don't have to do that, but if you don't do it right and you're using your hydrogen alpha up here as a reference frame, it will not put the tag on the end of it as registered. So sometimes if you don't want to forget which ones you registered it to, which frame you used as a reference. so I normally do that. That will align those two images together. I'm not going to do that because we've already done that, and I'm trying to save time, make this video nice and short and sweet. So we already have those images done. I can delete these. So our background and aligned images, put them on top. You see they line up perfectly. So from here I would go ahead and run StarNet, and we're going to create a star mask, and we're going to remove the stars from this image. That will leave us with a background nebulosity and then a stars image. I'm not going to run that as well because that takes a pretty long time on my PC, and I've already done that. So we will end up with two starless images and two sets of starred images, these four images. Our hydrogen alpha data and our O3 data. And now at this point I'm going to fix these two up, as you know, I'm going to start doing some processing. These have already been processed a little bit. They've already been stretched out, so they are not linear. As you can see, if I hit that button, they are not linear. So these, I would do Seti's statistical stretch on them, and then once I'm done stretching, I will take it a little bit further with a, let's see, a range mask. So we'll range select. I'll show you an example of that here. And my object here is to select the nebulosity and separate the nebulosity in the background. So that will give us a range mask that we can throw on here. And now we can work with this and do some little tricks here to remove the background. And it, as you can see, I've already done that on this image. So the background is fairly decent, and I've still got, you know, I've still got the detail in there and the nebulosity. But from here, I would invert that mask. So we have our background we're editing, and then I would just do a simple curve on this and pull the background down to a point where I like it. This has already been done on this image, so there's, you know, me going any further on it actually makes it look worse. So there's no point in me really doing this to it anymore. So delete that mask. So now once we've got this, you know, our background is nice and dark, our nebulosity and all our details are there. We had to crop out, do some clone stamping on this one star because StarNet leaves a little artifact behind there. I didn't do the greatest job of it. I redid that quickly. The first time I processed the image, I did a little bit better than that, but for the sake of the video, we'll just leave that. We don't need that range mask. So these stars, because we didn't mess with those, I didn't edit those first, I left those linear, it spits them out linear. So that's okay, we can leave those in that linear form. And now it's just as simple as going to our utilities, 4x palette utility. I love this tool, it works great. So choose this option if you only have two stars or two channels. So we got the hydrogen alpha, and we're going to select our hydrogen alpha registered with the stars removed. It does not matter if you do, you can leave these linear and still mix this together. I like to edit that a little bit before, and actually I'm once again I am forgetting this step. This is the third time I've made this video and I forgot about this step. But when you're done editing and playing with these and stretching them, getting them where you want, you need to do a linear fit on them, because we need that background to be, you know, relatively close between the two images, or you'll end up with some really horrible colors in the background. So linear fit, real simple. Normally you pick the brightest image, brighter of the two. We're going to use that as the reference image. Then you would drag this triangle over to your other image, and that would do a linear fit process and normalize those two frames. So now that those are normalized, we can then run our utility, our 4x palette utility, and this is going to create an HOO image for us. We'll put our starless frames here, and then our stars here. Now, if you say you didn't want to remove your stars, you can use starred images on this side. Just check that box so that you're not using stars. So, once you got those in there, you hit execute. And that's going to run and create a couple different images for us. Okay, so that's all done. I believe this created kind of a luminance mask. I don't really need that. So we've got our stretched image already. So this is non-linear. And the stars were linear when we put them in, so that they are linear when they come out. We can stretch that to see what's there. That's way too many stars, so I do not like that at all. At this point, I will take and we'll do a Seti Astro star stretch utility here. Drag and drop that on there, and voila, we got a much nicer looking star field. Now, I prefer even less stars than that, so we're going to run a curves transformation on this. Do a preview window, and all I'm going to do is pull this down. Some less stars in there, and now we can pump up our saturation a little bit if we want, and get some saturation in there, and voila, there we go. So now we've got a good stars image. We got our background. You can do some final touches on this. You know, if you wanted to clone stamp this a little bit better with the absolutely horrible clone stamp in this program. At that point, you could take it to Photoshop and do some work on it, or if you're like me, you're using GIMP free software. I don't like paying subscription software. I don't mind paying the $350 for Pixinsight. Only got to pay for it once. So now we got our two images, and you know, if we wanted to take this a bit further, I guess we could do a range mask on that again and pull that background down even further, but it actually doesn't look too bad. Invert that mask so we're working with the background. Curves. Open up a preview window. Let's take a look, a closer look at it. pulling our background down and make that darker. So that looks pretty good. We'll remove that mask. And so now all we gotta do is stick these together. And we can do that with Pixel Math. Go to Expression Editor. And we're gonna do this little inverse of the inverse thing here. Our 4x star, or background, times the inverse of our stars. We do this, we screen images like this so that we don't clip data. Seti actually made a script the other day. I haven't downloaded it to test it yet, but it is a tool to add masks together. But you can also use it to screen your stars and your starless images together as well. So you don't have to sit here and type out this every time or mess with the pixel math. It's a little more intuitive. Okay, there we go. So there's our final image, and yeah, I like it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos in the future. I'm going to start making a lot more regular content. I've got a video coming up on how to get into astrophotography from the beginning, with everything from just a regular old camera all the way to a more advanced telescope setup. But thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button.